In this video, we'll be talking about the integration between Givecloud and DonorPerfect for sponsorship organizations. We have great resources in the knowledge base that detail how the child sponsorship module can be configured, including details around importing existing sponsorship databases. In this video though, we're going to be specifically focused on the integration between Givecloud and DonorPerfect, and we'll be going through a couple of best practices in relation to sponsorships. Before we get started, however, we have a couple of high-level points we'd like to clarify on how the child sponsorship program works between Givecloud and DonorPerfect. Firstly, Givecloud is where your child database lives and where it will be managed. Things, for example, like the child's profile, which children are available to be sponsored, and updates to a child's timeline for the sponsors to then see through their donor portal. Secondly, Givecloud is where your sponsorship database will live, a record of which supporters sponsor which children. You can report on your sponsors to get crucial information, such as how long a supporter has been sponsoring a specific child. You can keep track of which sponsorships are active or have ended, as well as the overall health of your sponsorship program. Supporters will use Givecloud to see a list of available children to be sponsored, choose one or multiple children to sponsor, then set up recurring sponsorship payments and use the donor portal to see and manage their sponsorships. DonorPerfect can be used to report on sponsorship payments. It is important to note that a sponsorship in Givecloud consists of two things. One, a link between the sponsor and the child, and two, a recurring payment for the sponsorship payment. These two things are both set up and managed in Givecloud. When a new sponsor chooses to sponsor a child, here is what is going to happen in Givecloud. 1. A contribution will be created to reflect the new sponsorship and be synced to DonorPerfect. 2. Givecloud will link the sponsor to the child. 3. A recurring payment will be set for the sponsorship. And 4. This will trigger the creation of a pledge in DonorPerfect to reflect the recurring payment for that sponsorship. When a sponsorship payment is made, Givecloud will sync a record of that payment to the pledge in DonorPerfect by creating a gift linked to that pledge. Each child added to your sponsorship database requires DonorPerfect coding. This can be set up on the DonorPerfect integration panel on the child's record. These include fields like the GL code, campaign code, solicitation, and other fields that you may need for your reporting in DonorPerfect. It is very important that this DonorPerfect integration panel is set up for each child available to be sponsored. This ensures that when a payment is made for a sponsorship towards a child, Givecloud will create a gift in DonorPerfect that has the correct coding. As DonorPerfect does not have a record of your child database, it is highly recommended to create a custom gift UDF text field in DonorPerfect named Child Reference Number, which can also be added to Givecloud and will be populated with a child's reference number when a gift is created in DonorPerfect for a sponsorship payment. This way, you can tell which child a specific gift in DonorPerfect is for. It is also highly recommended to enable the auto-sync settings in Settings, Integrations, DonorPerfect so that the new contributions, recurring transactions, and potential refunds are all synced to DonorPerfect automatically too. Let's walk through an example. Here we have a child already created in Givecloud. We've added information to the child's profile and have set up the DonorPerfect coding. Let's have a look at this. As you can see here, we've assigned a GL code of SPON. Note that this GL code was created in DonorPerfect because DonorPerfect is integrated. A list of GL codes that exist in DonorPerfect show up in this field. Next, we've added the reference number to the custom UDF that was created in DonorPerfect and also added to Givecloud. This field shows up in the custom integration panel. To have this field added to Givecloud, you will first need to create the gift UDF for it in DonorPerfect, then reach out to our support team via live chat or email with the name and the label of that field, and then we can add it to your Givecloud site. It is important that this field is a text field in DonorPerfect. You might want to note that. Okay, now let's look at a sponsorship. Under contributions, all contributions, we'll have a look at a sponsorship that was set up through this website. A sponsor went to the sponsorship listing, chose a child to sponsor, and proceeded through the checkout by entering their payment information. Each new sponsorship that is set up lands in the contribution inbox or contributions report. In this example, the sponsor chose the $30 per month recurring option to sponsor this child with an initial payment at the time of checkout. They also chose to cover the fees of the transaction, DCC. This created a contribution for $31.17 and a recurring payment of that $31.17. Here we can see that this contribution was for two gifts that were created in DonorPerfect. One for the sponsorship payment of $30, which has the DonorPerfect coding specified on the child record, as well as a unique gift for the DCC or donors covers costs of $1.17. If we click onto the donor ID in the DonorPerfect integration panel, we can also see the pledge that was created to reflect this recurring payment. Now let's have a look at the recurring payment itself. Here we can see that a monthly recurring payment was created in the amount of $31.17 and is due to be processed on the 13th of each month. Because the sponsor has a payment method on file, this recurring payment will be automatically processed on the next bill date, and a gift to reflect the transaction will then be created within DonorPerfect when it processes. In the Transactions tab, we can see a record of each payment processed towards the sponsorship. Both successful and failed transactions will show up here. If the transaction has failed due to perhaps insufficient funds on the card or for any other reasons, then a gift won't be created in DonorPerfect. Let's have a look at this successful transaction. In the transaction modal, we can see the details of this transaction, when it was processed, what payment method was used, whether it was approved and or not, and we can also see the gift ID for the gift that was created in DonorPerfect to reflect this transaction. In this modal, there is also the option to refund the transaction if required. If refunded, Givecloud can also sync a record of the refund as an adjustment to DonorPerfect. We hope that this video has been helpful. Reach out to us if you have any further questions regarding the DonorPerfect Givecloud integration, specifically in regards to sponsorship. We'd love to help, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great day.